Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks for joining us here at this great event in Bishop Auckland. But there will be a panel discussion which will be chaired by one of my Bishop FM colleagues.
Very good afternoon, everybody. For those of you that don't know me, I'm Peter Rush off the radio. It's my pleasure to introduce you to the panel. Now, I don't know, I don't think I've got you in this order. I think it starts with Calvin, doesn't it? Calvin Lawson, Friends of the Earth. We've got Grace from Bishop Auckland and beyond, and Ada Lyons. And we've got Sharon Lashley, Climate Action North, as well as Jackie Stonehouse here at the end from Bishop Auckland residents, and Esme and Christopher, both from the Wash Youth Theatre, and Christopher wants to be from AYCC as well. But welcome to the panel and welcome to all the audience here. The first question that I'd like to sort of put out there is what has been your favourite part of the Green Fair today? Do you want to start off, Calvin?
Thank you. So I think my favourite part of the day has been just seeing how many people are here and how many different things are going on. You tend to go to a lot of these and there's a lot of very similar things, but there's been things today that I haven't seen, particularly in the room over here on the right. A lot more about reuse, recycle and information going on that you don't normally see, so I was quite glad to see a bit of diversity and so many people here.
Grace?
Hello everyone. Yeah, so the thing that I've enjoyed most today has been the conversations. Had some really good talks with everyone today, a good range of talks as well. You know, like environmental issues and climate change can be daunting, but the conversations I've had today have all been really inspiring. So yeah, that's just kind of led into the atmosphere, which has kind of got me inspired today. It's just been really lovely to chat with everyone. So thank you for coming and chat with me at the stall. It's been really nice. So thanks everyone.
Sharon?
Hi everybody, yes, I've enjoyed just being here, seeing everybody at the event. I've been across to the other venue as well and had a little look around the stall. It is refreshing, I think. In my business, I work in climate change every single day. It's easy to get overwhelmed and sad by everything that's happening in the world and get really sort of down with everything. But events like this pull me back, I think. So that's nice to think that, you know, I can come to an event where people they do care and they want to do something. And I think that pulls me back into, yeah, we've got to get on with it. We've got to get something done. And I think it's nice to see everybody join together as a community as well. So thank you for asking me along. Thank you.
Christopher? What's sort of been the best part for you today? There must have been something that is there anything that's inspired you?
Smoothies.
Smoothies? The smoothies have been the best for me. Definitely. What can you say, Chris? Enlighten us.
You enjoyed being here?
Have you enjoyed being there?
Yeah, taking part for the referendum environmental speech.
Super. What about you, Esme? What's been the best or your favourite part today?
My favourite part of the day was seeing everyone who's into the same things that I am, and like with all the stalls about the environment and just having fun with my friends, making smoothies and just having fun about the environment. And I'll read through thanks to Jane for helping us, and yeah, that's my favourite.
Do you think you've learned something by coming today?
Yeah, I think it's like been very eye-opening, and like it's got a good new side of the environment where it's like you're not always worrying about what's happening. It's like the fun side of it.
That's great, that is. What about you, Jackie? What's been the best for you?
Well, the curry was brilliant. Thank you to all the people that are working in very hot conditions over there, working in the kitchens and providing everybody with food and refreshment. That's been fantastic. But also to meet professionals who, I'm a one person in Bishop Auckland in isolation that wants to see change, but to know that there are support groups out there that you can go to when you have an idea, and they will support you in making that dream come true. And hopefully that this venue and these people here who feel the same as I do will pull together and we'll make something happen in Bishop Auckland.
Thanks, Jackie. Just sticking with you, what's your top green tip of today? And we'll go back down the line again. What's for you the best thing?
Keep planting. Keep planting. Any space you've got, keep planting. Some insect, some bird, some person will thoroughly enjoy your efforts. No matter how big or small the space, keep planting.
And Esme, what's been your tip? What have you learned today that you're going to take away?
I think I'm going to take away how you can reuse like oranges, for example, from the stall where you make your own like bird feed. And I feel like that's a big thing because birds are like a good species that we need. And to make something from like something that we just chuck away is like a big thing to help the environment. So I think that's one big tip that I'm going to take away.
What about you, Chris? Is there something that you've learned today that can make it through for you, that sort of stood out for you?
To not litter into, like, try saving the environment, because it's harmful for the animals as well.
Yeah, litter. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And what about you, Sharon?
I think the one thing that I would say that I've learned, and it's just been reinforced by everybody at tea today, is to do something about something you can control. You can't control what's happening in the rest of the world. I can't control what's happening in the rest of the world, but for 30 years I've been worrying about it, but I can't do anything about that. So I think the thing that we need to do is work with what we can do, work where we can control things and when we can make a difference. So concentrate on that, and then that's when we get the jobs done.
Grace?
Yeah, mine is quite similar to that one actually. I think my tip is just to use your voice. We all have power in our voices, but I think it is quite easy to forget the power that we have as individuals and as a collective group of people that are interested in these matters. So using your voice doesn't have to be public speaking. It can also be organising an event to raise awareness. It can be connecting with other people. It can be chatting with family and friends. So use your voice, there's power in it, and let's not forget that.
I think a lot of great tips have been covered there, and I would just like to think that today actually was reminded us that there are small local businesses that are creating quality, ethical, organic products that we can all use rather than, say, Amazon or something like that. And if you go into the room next door, there are fantastic products that not only would benefit the local economy, but it can make it so it's a circular economy and things stay in the local area in an ethical and natural way.
Fantastic. Okay, let's ask you another question then, and we'll come back down the line. What's your favourite green place to spend some time around Bishop Auckland?
All the counties are around, but don't know.
Well, yeah, well, around the greater Bishop Auckland.
Sure, well, I'm from Gateshead, so I was going to say...
What about Gateshead then?
Well, I was going to say Saltwell Park, because that's a fantastic little place we've got. But I've got 2 cockapoos, so anywhere I can get out into the nature, into the fields, farmers' fields, and take dogs out for a good 5-10 mile walk is perfect for me, and these kind of areas are perfect for that.
Hey everyone, yeah, this is a tricky one for me because I am based in Newcastle and I'm actually, maybe I've just tell from the accent, I'm a southerner. So I'm from Devon, so I've been up in the northeast for about 4 or 5 years now, so I'm very much learning the local area, so I will be listening to all of your tips for where to go in Bishop. But to be honest, just the northeast in general, County Durham and Northumberland is absolutely stunning. I go out every weekend, go for a walk, and I've still not actually been to every place yet. So just everywhere you go in this part of the world is just absolutely beautiful, and I feel very blessed to be up here. So bit of a cop-out answer, but also it's my answer, no. So yeah, thank you.
Yeah, I think that's a tricky one as well. I'm like Grace and Calvin, I'm not from here, but I do travel around the County Durham a lot. In all honesty, when I came in here today, I actually went to the left of the maze, what looks like a little sort of maze, and I've been over the church, obviously for the curry, as where I met Jackie, and I think anywhere where there are flowers, I've just been watching the bees land, and I think anywhere where there's greenery or there's a landscape that is, could be wasteland, you know, you'll always find some beauty of nature in anywhere that you look. So I think in terms of wonderful places, for me, I'm a coastal girl as well. Obviously I like the sea, so I live next to the sea. So for me, it's anywhere with water and anywhere with greenery, and it doesn't matter whether it's a tiny pocket park in the middle of Bishop Auckland, or it doesn't matter whether it's a potted plant. It could be anything. I think just find beauty in nature wherever you go, because we really, really wouldn't have a planet if we didn't have nature. So it's great to hear the kids talk about, you know, looking after nature and the environment, because it's incredibly important. So yeah, anywhere that's green or has a flower is good for you.
Where do you like spending your time, Christopher?
I normally just go for walks I go walk along the beach.
Fine. Do you have animals, dogs or anything like that, or do you just like to just go out for a walk?
No, I normally just go for walks with my family.
Fantastic. But it's nice to get out in the fresh air though, isn't it?
Yeah.
What about you, Esme?
For me, my favourite place, it's like more on the outskirts of Bishop, but it's Toft Hill. Like pretty much one of the most places that I've seen with like just green. That's like, it's a place where you can go and just like relax and not worry about anything. And like I grew up there like most of my life, so that's like my favourite part of like Bishop for me. Yeah.
Great, thanks Esme. And finally, Jackie.
Well, I'm going to bring it a lot closer to home. I'll say my backyard.
Yeah.
The reason for saying that is that during COVID, everybody was forced to stay inside. And having been through illness and then COVID that followed on from that, it was an absolute lifesaver. I've got a yard which is just the standard thing that you'll see all around Bishop Auckland, and I've planted it, and over the last, it's been there for 10 years, but it was really flourishing just after 3 years, and I counted 15 different species of birds just in my backyard. So it shows you don't need to have a huge space to encourage wildlife. And one of the nicest things to do, an everyday thing, wash the dishes and look out of the window and see what appears. And you can have dragonflies, you can have birds, you can have butterflies, but it's on your doorstep and you don't have to go very far to enjoy it. And that would appeal to anybody who is in a house where they're restricted and they can't get outside. So I'd love for those opportunities to be available for anybody and everybody that wants that to happen.
I think one thing that you can do is you can be in your own space. Because I've only got a small back garden. I live in Bishop Auckland. And it's just great being out in the fresh air, isn't it? And you know, growing a few plants and watching nature develop. I wanted to ask the panel, because I mean we've had a lovely warm day today. I did order it the nice day today, actually. I wish I could have done, but you know, it's always a bit iffy, isn't it, we're talking about the weather. How does the panel think that we can best prevent the world from getting too hot? Because that's an important question, isn't it? I'll come to you first, Jackie, being as I'm stood next to you.
First of all, thanks very much for that. What a big question. Well, obviously, the first thing would be to try to consider planting more and more trees in the right location in order to reduce the amount of heat that's bounced back off hard surfaces and tarmacked areas, to bring more and more green vegetation into city centres, which in itself cleans the air but also cools the city. So that would be my first choice.
Thanks, Jackie. Esme, as a youngster, what do you think that we can do to prevent the earth getting even more hot?
Well, this is like pretty much of a, like, it's a simple answer, but it's not gonna like do loads, and it's a bit like what Jackie said, but like I think the most thing that we could do is like do our best in like turn lights off, saving the water and stuff. But then planting's also a really big one, but like because we need to look after all of our wildlife, but it's quite a tricky question to answer, especially being like young and not like knowing as much as like.
I'm old and I don't know much.
So I think.
I'm even older.
So I think mine's just pretty much as similar as Jackie's, but yeah.
That's fine, that's a good answer. What about you, Christopher? What do you think we can do? Maybe learn about things. Do you think? I don't want to put words in your mouth. You've got to say what you think.
Apart from planting trees and, like you said, electricity and water, I can't really think of much else.
That's absolutely fine. We've all got to do our bit to help, haven't we? That's the thing.
Yeah, I'm just going to echo what everybody else has said, Jackie, Esme and Christopher as well, about, again, bringing it back to what we can do. You know, we can all do something. If we didn't do anything and we did nothing, that degree rise would come quicker. It is coming, whether we like it or not. So I think without being a doom and gloom, which is not what we do anymore, we talk about how can we adapt to the changing world. The world is going to change, how can we adapt to that? And what can we do to make our lives the best we can possibly, you know, have in the future, especially for the children that are growing, as, you know, in our sort of lifetime, they're going to be left with a legacy. But I think, you know, working in the sector for so long and seeing so many things happen over the years, it's about never giving up. For me, it's not giving up. We have a programme called One Small Change. If you could all make one small change, what would you do? And if one small change from 8 billion people on the planet, which is what we're about now, is if everybody made one small change and did something differently, imagine what that might look like in the world as a big, big impact. So, yeah, my advice is we don't know what's going to happen with those degree rises, and no one really does, but unless we all do something, but it's not up to us, it's not all up to us, it's about bigger powers have got a bigger part to play. And we can't control that, but what we can do is control what we do in our own backyards or in our own houses and whatever. So yeah, if we could do something, everybody does something, then it's better than nothing.
Cool, yes. Exactly that really, and exactly what everyone else has said, but I think keep organising events like this, keep inspiring this kind of community action within local communities, make that action national, then it goes international. I think, again, like I said before, the power in what we can do locally does have an impact globally, and it is so daunting thinking about that, but also like it is really inspirational to put on these events and see the action that comes from them. So just keep, if you're someone who likes organising events, organise them. If you're someone who likes getting on social media and making a social media campaign, do that. Like, there's power in what you can do. So plant the trees and that kind of thing, but also just try to bring other people within your passion as well by doing social action and getting involved in social justice as well. Cool.
Yeah, I mean, I think everybody's pretty much covered it though. It is a big question just to ask how to solve climate change in the Bishop Auckland Methodist Church. But as people said, just it's things like they just being active. Obviously, everybody's giving time out of the day here because they care enough about the problem. But just staying active, and maybe getting a bit political as well. Make sure you sign up to vote. And it isn't a party political issue. It's a universal problem that we have to deal with. So no matter what X you put your colour next, no what colour you put your X next to, make sure that every politician you come in contact with understands that this is the #1 priority, and this is what we need to be sorting out more than any other, really.
Right. Well, in the time that we've got left, I just want to ask a final question, and I'm going to stick with you, if I may. One of the things that I've been involved in is losing weight over the last 6 months. I know it doesn't look like it, but I've lost a couple of stone in 6 months. And one of the things that helped me was planning meals. And I don't know whether anybody's listened to it, Green Matters on Bishop FM. I was involved in a series of programmes from January through to, well, just a couple of weeks ago. And it's certainly educated me. But if you were to make a green dinner, this is the final question. What's your top tip for the kitchen?
Veggies go lovely in a curry.
Oh, that's fine.
Oh, sorry.
Buy locally and eat seasonally. Obviously, strawberries are in season, get them now. When squash is in season, get the squash going. So, and eat lots of colours as well, because colours are natural, and yeah, get all of that in your diet, because it is good for the environment as well.
One of the things for me, by the way, was to plan what you're doing, what you're eating, because that does cut down on food waste. Pass the microphone to you now.
I was going to do the same, pretty much the same thing as what Grace has said, really. Try and eat locally if you can. If you can grow your own food, that's even better. But try and, minimise your food waste. It's always good to say, let's just cook what you need and eat what you cook. That's what I usually say, then you're not likely to have a load of food waste, because food waste is a huge problem, as you can imagine, across the world. It's a big issue that we're trying to deal with around the whole of the world. So basically, yeah, if you're cooking, try and cook enough for everybody so that you don't have to waste a lot. And then maybe think about things that you can do with that food. You can freeze a lot of food if you make too much. It's about how you manage the meals and how you actually do that. But yeah, cooking from scratch is great, fresh, and then cooking what you need. And not buying bog-offs and putting them in the back of the fridge that they never get used again, and just throw them out. Buy one, get one free, things like that.
Not outside, so maybe cook, I don't know. So I've just had my cooking, so...
Eating like more fruits and vegetables, and you can grow them like yourself.
I will do.
Smoothie. That's rude.
You can make your own smoothies.
I think a big one is to not cook over what you need, and to not waste as much food as say a household with 2 people in, and they make loads of food. Don't make stuff that'll go off quicker, but then don't make over the limit that you need. So just make what you need, and then don't waste it. And then also a big one is to, a bit like what other people have said, grow your own vegetables and grow your own fruit and things, because that's a big thing, and it'll help with the heat and things as well. So.
Thanks.
I'll just repeat what everybody else has said. If you can, grow your own. If you can't, why not think about a community garden and grow your own food from there? Not only does it bring the community together, you learn about planting the plants, but also you get better food from it. The flavour of something that you've grown, no matter how mouldy and manky it might appear because it's had slugs and things on it, it will have better flavour than something that looks pristine, that has been pesticide to death, that's been kept in a supermarket, sweating in a bag. So have the experience of growing your own food and tasting your own food. There's nothing more refreshing than to have something that you've grown. There's nothing more rewarding than having something you've grown yourself. So yeah, I'd say that. Probably not mine.
I'll edit it out. Oh, sorry, it's my own. I'm getting you all tied up. That's right. Right, it just falls to me to thank everybody on the panel. You wouldn't believe that was half an hour, would you? Certainly stood up here, it didn't seem like half an hour. But thanks, Calvin, Grace, Sharon, Christopher, Esme, and Jackie. Give them a round of applause. It's absolutely great to have a couple of youngsters on the panel, and a particular thanks to both Christopher and Esme for putting themselves through that. That'll stand you in good stead for the future. A couple of things before we... sorry, what?
I think Christopher thought he was actually doing he's wrote something. Oh, right. And that's what he's got. That's why when he was answering some of the questions, he was a little bit like, this is not what I was expecting. So he has still got that piece of paper in his hand to read that off if he's wanted.
Well, we can do that absolutely if you're prepared. Are you all right doing that, Christopher? Go on then. Yeah.
Mike's on you this time.
Yeah, because that's the way.
Speeches about the environment, about saving our planet. We can help save our planet by using less energy and conserving water. This can help by lowering the amount of greenhouse gas emissions. Vehicles also pollute the air with greenhouse gases, which cause climate change. Litter picking also saves our planet because then animals will be able to live peacefully in temperate tropical and subtropical grassland ecosystems. Large animals can reduce forest and bushfires, increase albedo, and help retain carbon in the vegetation in the soil. Animals also help with pollination, pest control, and climate control. Animals make a difference on our planet mainly by eating. This helps plants grow in different places and changes the environment. Air pollution can result in changes to the climate. These pollutants, including greenhouse gases, are often referred to as climate enforcers. Rising sea levels causes permanent flooding of low-lying areas and increased frequency, extent and depth of tidal inundation. Saving our Earth and its environment becomes highly important as it provides us food and water to stay in life. And that is why we should try and save our planet. Another crucial effect on our planet is the portion of food waste that will end up in a landfill site where it rots and releases powerful greenhouse gases. Please help us try saving our planet.
Christopher, well done. One of the most startling facts that I found out during the food waste green matters, I went down to Refuse Cafe, and Oliver's been here today doing smoothies from Refuse in Chester Street, and I spoke to a very inspirational Nikki, and she told me a startling fact, and I've carried this for the last couple of months. We waste in the UK as much as it would take the area of Wales in 1 year to grow. And that's startling, isn't it? You know, it really is. Anyway, again, thanks very much to the panel. Thank you for listening. Please leave your feedback just on your way out. When you go, I'm not kicking you out now, but when you go, because it's really important for us. And I'd just like to hand over to Daniel, who has been our inspiration and our organiser, just to say something just to sort of close the event. Thank you very much.
Yes, I can only echo that. Wonderful, thank you. I'm really inspired by all your answers there, so thank you for being on the panel and sharing your wisdom with us. It just falls to me, before you disappear, just to thank everybody who's been involved today, and that's a lot of people, including everyone who's just come along to see what it's all about, all the stall holders through there, people who've cooked over the road, people who've put activities on. It's all been amazing. I'm just blown away, really. Especially wonderful just to see so many young people here, and all that you've done today has been really inspiring. So thank you to all the young people, and particularly AYCC, Daisy Arts, Wash Theatre, who've been here today and shared some of your experiences. So thank you. I just want to say a big thank you to a few people, so bear with me. I just want to go on record really as thanking some folks. So a big thank you to Thomas Wales from Bacchanalia, who's done loads of publicity for this day, and to a young man called Finley who made a wonderful video which you may have seen, and also to Bishop FM obviously, who've kind of taken on this fair really as I don't know what you want to call yourselves, accountable body or something, but anyway, it's been great, and you've done some wonderful fundraising for us as well, which has been great. I want to thank anybody who's helped to fund this day, so that's particularly Bishop Auckland and Shildon AAP and councillors Kathy Hunt and Andrew Jackson, who've put some funding in for us, Bishop Auckland Town Council, Gorners Gateway, and particularly Susan. I don't know where she's disappeared to, but Susan has been an incredible support just with all the technical stuff and all the admin, so big thank you to Susan. Newcastle Building Society, Believe Housing, and also Aid Alliance, I think, has chipped something in for us, so thank you to all those people who've helped us today. That's been great. And I really want to say a massive thank you to all the people who've been on our organising group, which has been meeting for about 6 months, believe it or not, to make this happen. So there's been a wonderful group of people who've made this happen. Joanne's sitting at the back there, and there's been others who've done that. I don't know where they've all disappeared to, but probably getting a cup of tea. But just before we finish, I really want to say a big shout out for John and Vanessa, if they're around. Vanessa is there. Is John lurking about somewhere? He's disappeared. So Vanessa and John have been the ministers at this church. Sadly, we're moving on in about a month's time, isn't it, Vanessa? So, you know. So just to really say a massive thank you. You've been a real inspiration to the sort of whole town, really, and particularly in environmental matters, and obviously to this church and to the Green Fair and helping this to happen and hosting us in your building. So a big shout out to both of you, and all the best and blessings for your future journey, really.
Keep up the good work here.
Thank you. And really that's it. Just to say, you know, this is a journey we're on. You know, there are those sorts of journeys, but we're also on a journey. It's a conversation. We need to just keep having this conversation, keep talking about these things. That's the whole point of the Green Fair. It's not to sort of put on a big splash for one day. It's to generate something that will keep going. So wherever you are, go and have those conversations in whatever way you can. Watch this space. There'll be more Green Matters radio shows coming out, hopefully, later in the year. There may be some other little events following up this one, and hopefully something else next year, but we'll see. But yeah, go out there and do what you've heard about today, and enjoy. Thank you so much for coming today.
Before we end, I just want to say a really big thank you to Jane from Daisy Arts. She's just round the corner, hiding. I just want to say a big thank you to her for inviting me today and inviting me on this panel.
Thanks to everyone, and well, we'll see you again, hopefully.